Jason Sims, so close, buddy. Third in tonight behind Colt Deister and Mike Draco, number one. Scott Stefano in with us. Karen, hi from Florida, good to see you. Nancy Keener, watching from Maryland. Good to see all you guys here. Hey, this is Chris with Cycle Source Magazine, and I'm going to be your engineer for the next 60 minutes of Coast to Coast with Chris Simmons and Michael Lichter. Thank you guys for tuning in with us, and as always, thanks everyone over at Chopper Town for supporting our shows. Fantastic. If you guys haven't been over to Chopper Town to check out all of the two-wheel entertainment that they have, I suggest you park an afternoon and go check them out. Coast to Coast going live in just 3.5 minutes. Stick around. Okay, got to give some more shout-outs. Walter Benarski in from New Jersey. Jason Sims battling the stupid lag. One man, what's up, buddy? Sally Culp-Hallman watching in Tampa. Scott Stefano, the build gets kind of waiting for me up there, but thanks for reminding me. Bruno Capola, good evening from Laconia, New Hampshire. Good to see you here, buddy. Kenny Sweeney in the house. Alex Borgia. What is this? This is Coast to Coast, man. 60 minutes of talk about motorcycles, history, and women in motorcycling with Chris Simmons and Michael Lichter. Joe Sparrow in the house with us. Chrissy here with us. Stacy Missler. Man, so many people tonight. Jason Holman from Lakeland, Florida. Greg White. Gus in the house. It's gonna be crazy. It's going to be a busy night. I can see you guys are piling into the parking lot. Chris and Michael are getting those bikes fired up. Don't go anywhere, but while you're waiting, here's what you can do to help this program get out further and further every week. Hit the like and share button. Make sure your friends and neighbors know when we go live with Coast to Coast. Appreciate it. Stick around. 2 minutes. We're under the 2-minute wire for Coast to Coast. Oh, gotta mention that one. Elizabeth Scheller from Red Deer, Alta, Canada. Dan Owens is here. We had Texas checking in. Steve Burrows from Detroit. Jimmy Bradley in the shop, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. One man fixing the Corvette. I think that's what that says. Chrissy is in from New Hampshire. So many places. That's fantastic, man. Listen, if you're out there watching, you don't just have to be an observer throughout the show tonight. You see all those comments coming up. They'll be on the screen periodically throughout the evening. You can put up your questions, comments, and concerns. The hosts will get to them throughout the night. And you can ask the guest on tonight's Coast to Coast what's on your mind. Stick around just under a minute now. We're almost there. Sean Kalachi, Florida grown. Mike Draco, Cincinnati. Scott Stokes, Hartsville, South Carolina. 25 seconds. That's time to get this one up out of the barn and onto the racetrack. Let's go live with this week's Coast to Coast. Here we go.
Hey everybody, welcome to Coast, the show for women in motorcycling on Facebook or probably anywhere. Anyway, we have a lot of fun here. Great to see everybody coming in from all over the place. And we have a wonderful show for you tonight. Thank you for supporting us and for really spreading the word about our show. I got so many people talking to me about it these days. It's so fun. So let's bring in our co-host, Michael Lichter, from all the way from Boulder, Colorado. What are you up to? There you are, Mr. Smiling Mike.
Hey, Chris, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Alrighty. It's not like we haven't spoken today, is it?
No, I did a couple of Zoom calls today. We're actually getting caught up to, for planning our show for the next few weeks because we're both going to be traveling.
That's right.
We're going
to the chase.
To the chase.
Awesome. We're chasing the chase.
Yeah.
Actually, everybody here, like even our Cycle Source support, our production crew there in the background with Chris Callan and Heather. They're both going to be there, and you and I will be there, and it's going to be
our show from there. I know I'm not. It's going to feel weird for me because I'm not riding. I'm going to be sad for a while. But it's okay because I'm just glad I get to go. There it is. It's going to be so much fun to just see everybody, and that's such a beautiful part of the country. And Cape Girardeau, I must say, the city is so nice. Cannonball has been through there, I think, twice, and it's just an awesome town. I just love it there.
Yeah, and it's a little different. It's only 5 days, and nobody knows where they're going or where we're staying. So
we don't even
not only do you get your ride sheet in the morning, but you don't know the town you're going to end up in. So I mean, it's going to be a real challenge. I got Matt King is riding me from Matt was with Harley for 20 years. So he's going to pick up a Harley in Milwaukee and bring it down to us and ride me around.
Right.
So that's going to be really cool. So he's saying, you'll let me know where we're going and all. And I said, nope. And then he said, well, you mean, what about that roll chart? He said, yep, that's what you got to do. This is like, not only do you have to listen to me saying, move left, move right, 3 feet, back 2 feet, up 1 foot. You also have to look at your roll chart saying go 1.7 miles and turn left at the Hardy sign.
You don't have to give him a lesson on the and I love that magical mystery tour. It's like nobody knows where they're going, but it's going to be. He'll learn. I'm just going along to help, and we're going to do some show stuff from there, some live stuff from there. It's going to be really fun. So I'm really looking forward to that.
You just got onto something there.
What?
That's it. One of these years I'll have to do the chase and we'll call it the magical mystery chase. Right?
Magical mystery chase.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
There's they got this wonderful book
really
coming
cool,
out,
isn't it?
I must say we got a sneak peek at this today, you guys, and it's so fun.
Check this out, everybody.
Book. Yeah, it's super cool. It should be available, I think, at the start of the chase.
Look at that picture there of you. Isn't that cool?
Oh, I wonder who took that.
Oh yeah, I wonder.
That's when I was dirty and nasty.
So it's sort of like a yearbook. It's this cool book of who's in the chase this year and a little bit about last year's chase and how to pack for the chase and what it's about and all that history. Yeah. So that's going to be really cool. So hopefully that was put together by the Cycle Source crew as well in record time.
Right.
And
how to pack for the chase. I'm just thinking, how many quarts of oil can I fit in my saddlebags? That was the thing everybody's trying, people that ride old bikes know that it's all about the oil, right? It's like the blood of the motorcycle. You can't be out there without oil. And everybody's like, I went to this Harley shop and everybody was ahead of me and they bought up all the 60 weight oil.
Yeah, Aeroshell, go to a little airport and go pick it up.
That's right. That's right.
Awesome.
So that's kind of fun. We got, I'm going to pack I'm going to get the long distance trophy because I'm actually coming from Hawaii. Red eye. Oh my God.
Wow.
I haven't done a red eye in a while. It should be quite fun. But we'll be there and come and see us in Cape Girardeau if you're around.
Yeah, please do. Check the schedule online. Go to the website. And I want to thank everybody for chiming in. Boy, I'll tell you, it is a race to write and chime in, and today Mike Draco gets it. He chimed in.
Oh yeah,
he chimed in, and not far behind him. Oh my God, 1 second behind him was Cold Easter, and 4 seconds behind him was Jason Sims, and 1 second behind that was you.
I told him we're gonna have to give him stickers.
I know, it's pretty amazing, but I don't know. I wonder if Cold Easter is going to make it. I know he had some problems. I don't know if he's going to make the chase. He was signed up and he had some health stuff going on. But hopefully we'll see him. He's from Colorado, but I get to see him on these events.
Yep.
But always wonderful to see everybody chiming in and saying hello to each other and catching up. What else we got going on? What's coming up?
Well, I got to show you what I got in the mail today. I got my 35th year member patch from Harley Owners Group. 35 years. I know because my son's 35. Anyway, got the patch. Put it in the pack with the other patches.
Hotel. There we go.
Anyway, so we have some events. We're going to go over a couple of events real quick. We've got coming up. There's always some cool stuff coming up for women in motorcycling. And we've got July 1st through 4th in New Orleans, a Black Girls Ride to the Essence Fest 2021. Female riders of all levels. Unique riding vacation. This is the 3rd annual ride to the Essence Fest. That's really cool. All kinds of fun stuff going on there. I don't know if Chris can roll some of these. We've got the websites for that coming up. And then Women on Wheels, July 13th, 14th, 15th, Lake George. That's kind of cool. There's just all these little events coming up. And actually, I have
such a beautiful place. That's so
yeah,
gorgeous
that's
up
okay.
there.
You didn't have the websites. It's okay. And then you know what? I actually go on Women Riders now because that's what I do. When I look at their events page, and they're so nice. They always put our show up there. But I go on there and look for the events. There's so many cool things coming up. The suffragist ride, which is it's really fun. It's gonna be July 31st, August 19th from Portland to DC. I'm gonna jump in, I think, in Sturgis.
Oh, that is so much fun.
There.
Such a great ride.
Yeah, and then at the end, it's this really cool women's motorcycle conference, 3-day conference.
And you're a presenter there, right?
I am presenting a PowerPoint on the history of women in motorcycling. And then I'll kind of go into the riding on the Cannonball. I mean, talking about these women riding these old bikes, and then I'm actually going to come and ride an old bike and show you, kind of demonstrate all that stuff. So that's fun. And then we have the Wild Gypsies at the Chip. We've got the Biker Bells, Wild Gypsies. Biker Bells is August 10th. It's the 13th annual year for it. Seems like yesterday when we started that one.
Which this year will also be at the Buffalo Chips
yes.
Westgate there, where they have all-day things planned for Biker Bells.
Yeah,
at the Chip.
So
and there's also, is that it for the women's events you got?
There's other stuff going on after that, but there's just so much,
we should mention a couple all gender events. Like
I was going to say, that's kind of your job.
Yeah, I guess. But one thing that's kind of fun, it's an event that's sponsored, put on by JP Rodman, Run to Raton, New Mexico. It's just a really cool, fun event in this little town, and it's a great little town. It's gorgeous next to Raton Pass. I went. I've gone a couple times, and hopefully I'll go again. That's July 22nd to the 25th. Really cool, fun people, and there's a park right in the middle of this little town, and everybody camps out in the little park across from JP's shop.
Oh,
and
wow, cool!
There's music and kind of fun. That's really neat. And then, of course, Sturgis Bike Week. You mentioned the Biker Bells, and I am going to announce here, first time publicly, that on August 8th at about noon, I'll dial that in next week. It could be 11:30, could be noon. We're actually having a hard opening of the More Metal exhibition. So we've never done that before. We've always been a soft opening on Saturdays. This time we're opening on Sunday. We're going to ask as many of the builders to be present for that and invite everybody to come over and meet the builders. I'll be there. I show my work every 5 years, and this is a year delayed from last year where I'll be showing about 110 framed photographs of mine. Wow. And so they'll be on the walls, and I'll be there to talk to people about it. And the builders will be there to talk about their bikes and their all new bikes. And we got some exciting stuff.
It's always the highlight. One of the highlights, I say, for my whole Sturgis thing is going to your event.
Well, thank you.
Checking everything out. And it's kind of like the place to be, to see everybody and stuff. And it's kind of a great meeting place.
Yeah, so I hope everybody does come down. And, the theme, More Metal, and the whole concept there, it's basically the Survivors Edition. So it's a 2-year theme. We did it last year with older bikes, and this is my 21st year. And some years it's very specific. Like one year, you could have no paint on any bike. There was no paint on 35 bikes in the gallery. All raw metal. It's lit with 85 theater lights overhead and pedestals. Really cool.
Jeez.
And 2 years ago, it was what's the skinny? So they're all skinny bikes. This year, it's all people that have been building bikes and in business for over 20 years. So the younger people in the show will be like Pat Patterson and Billy Lane. And the older people will be, there's some my photos. The older people will be people like, let's see here.
Don't call them old.
I shouldn't. People that have been around longer, including myself. But who am I thinking?
There's a bunch of them. Come on.
I know. I'm not even thinking right now.
How about Dave Perowitz? How about Dave Perowitz?
Dave Perowitz is in the show, of course.
Yeah.
So,
right.
and Mondo's in the show. So, I mean, there's a bunch of the older generation in the show, down to kind of
Arlen,
and Arlen Fatlin's in the show. Thank you. All the names. Steve Broyles couldn't finish his bike, so not everybody's in it. Some people couldn't finish their bikes. Yep. Got to give Steve Broyles a hard time for not.
Yeah, someday, you know what? I'm going to plant the seed because we talked about getting the little baby Striders in there one of these days.
There you go.
For a little show off of the show. Little mini Strider bikes that we
and see what they can do.
I'm taking over. All right, and I have to say we have a great guest tonight.
We do.
It's going to be we do a wonderful guest. And before we do that, I want to tell you a little bit. We're going to do our Incredible Women of Motorcycling segment. And I think you'll like this. I don't think you ever heard of this one, but maybe you have. I'm not sure if it's queued up yet. Go for it, Cris. Welcome to Incredible Women of Motorcycling History, our weekly segment. It's so much fun to do. And this week I want to tell you about Lillian LaFrance. Yes, that was not her real name. She was actually born as Agnes Misek in 1894 in Atwood, Kansas. One of 12 children born on a farm. She longed for adventure in the open West to get away and do something. She said she had the wanderlust. I really love that word. Anyway, at age 16, she joined the carnival and began traveling all over the place. In 1924, she learned how to ride the Wall of Death, and she did that for many years, traveling to Honolulu, Burma, all over the U.S., different places. And then finally, at age 39, she'd had enough. She wanted to settle down. She said she didn't have anyone to go home to. She longed for some roots and a family. So she married the general agent manager of the carnival. His name was Neil Hamilton. They settled down in Arizona. She had a son, and she lived in Arizona for many years, the remainder of her life. She passed away in 1979 at age 85. That's a little bit about Lillian LaFrance. You can check her out in my book, The American Motorcycle Girls, 1900 to 1950. Thanks.
So cool.
How about her bitchin' clothes? Okay.
Awesome.
She had that killer sweat. I mean, you didn't show the boots. The boots had the skulls on it, but her sweater. I mean, come on. And we're having the fashion thing going on tonight with the apparel with our guest, Natalie. So I want to ask Natalie what she thinks about that shirt. But.
Good segue in. I'll tell you, if I was around in the 1920s, my God, 100 years ago. So if I was around 100 years ago, I definitely would be attracted to some of these women in your book. I mean, they just had such spirit, right? And you don't even think of women like that being there, but I mean, you've really exposed that they were there, they were out there, and they've always been there.
That's right. And we're celebrating them. With my book is a big celebration of those women, and I want people to remember them and know who they were. So I just think that's fun. But maybe we should bring our guest on.
Let's do it. Well, let's at least say who she is. Natalie Kleiner.
Go ahead.
And I've met Natalie a few years ago at Born Free, and she started really making the scene, coming to a lot of different shows. And I saw her recently at the Tennessee Motorcycles and Music Revival. And so she's been around to a lot of shows. When I met her in California, she was working for Troy Lee Designs. And so she was involved in the motorcycle industry as a designer. And she's continued with that to today working for Milwaukee Leathers. Right. And that's her full-time job. That's her day job. But she also has her own brands that she'll talk about, other things that she's doing. And the amazing part is, she's fairly new rider. She started in 2015. So it's amazing. Like so many of our guests, they haven't been riding that long, but they so embrace what we do. So on that note, let's bring Natalie in.
Hey, how you doing there?
Hello, guys.
Hi, Natalie.
I'm good. That was such a nice introduction. Thank you so much.
I know, he does such a good job.
He really did. That was awesome.
Well, it's great to have you. And you know what? You have like the perfect set for a designer. You have a very artful looking background there.
Yeah, look at the skull.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
And you can't even see. I know to your left, there's all those very cool old frames with mirrors and whatnot. But anyway, that's very cool. So here you are, and we want to hear more about your story and how you got into motorcycles. Maybe you could even start with that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And it was fairly recent, you know. Now, when we started talking about it the other night, I realized, gosh, yeah, it's only been a good handful of years that I've been riding, since about 2015. And it seems like it's been way longer than that. But yeah, I started riding because of a really good friend of mine. She would ride around everywhere. And I grew up in northern Minnesota. So we only get a handful of months where we get beautiful weather, and we just try and enjoy our summers to the ultimate max. And so I would spend a ton of time with my friend Jamie here, who is in the corner of that picture, just cheesing, grinning away. We would
and
just
clearly she is a lot of fun. You could tell that.
She is so much fun. She's such a hoot. She's always like, let's go camping, let's go hiking, let's go play softball, let's go do this, let's go do that, let's go check this out. And it's always just going from one place to another. And in the summertime, we would always try and get the best of the weather while we could. So she was always going everywhere on her motorcycle. And I would oftentimes just like hop on the back with her out of ease. It'd be quick. Like we'd throw our backpack on, I'd hop on the back with her. We'd ride from point A to point B, a lot of times riding along Lake Superior on the North Shore. It was gorgeous there. And I was like, my gosh, like I love riding on this bike when we go places, but man, it'd be cool to just ride. And she's like, oh my gosh, you need to learn to ride, you know? And then that was it. Before we knew it, like I was on this little junker bike, little kickstart bike, riding around out in someone's yard in the grass. And then it ended up going into the gravel roads, because we're up in, you know, northern Minnesota, where it's just, you know, land for miles and whatnot. So I started out on gravel roads on this little, like some type of Kawasaki kickstart something. I don't even know what it was.
You know what? That's what friends are for, right?
Oh man.
I mean, she saw how much you loved it, and she said, you know what? You got to do this, right?
Yeah.
And there's no reason why you can't. So you just have to have the desire, right? So
Out of curiosity, where is this friend of yours?
She is in Duluth, Minnesota still.
She's still in Minnesota.
So that's kind of far away from you, so you don't get to see her too much.
I don't, but we connect on and off, and it's one of those super good friends that like years or time can pass by, and when you get back together, it's like you never missed a beat. And
cool.
So
did she realize that she created a monster?
Wait,
she totally does. A monster, Michael.
A monster. Wait a minute.
She created a monster. But
there you go. I just love that you pursued it. You know, I mean, like I said, if you have an idea, and you feel if it's something you really. I was like that when I was 9 years old. Okay, and I still remember that feeling. I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. You know, I knew that at the early age, but you got it. You got it.
Absolutely. Cool. Yeah. And once I started, that was it. It's like a drug. It's so addicting. You can't get enough, you know? And, oh my gosh.
You rode on the gravel. There was your first place. And now you're on the ice. So you're going for it.
And then it's the ice. Well,
6 years in, and she's got five big bikes in the garage.
It's an ever ongoing problem. But you know, up in Minnesota, it's like you get 8 months of winter up there. I swear to God, it's like 40 below over half the time, you know, so you got to make the best of what you got. It's either snowmobiling or
you leave.
And then you leave. So then I left. Once I realized I was big enough girl to leave, I was like, adios, I'm out of here.
Hey, but snowmobiles are cool too. I remember doing some snow because I'm from Illinois, so I'm kind of like I'm a little, not too far from Duluth actually. Same kind of climate.
I'm just from Colorado in the Rockies, and we could ride in January.
Yeah, well, it'll snow, and the next day it'll be 50, and you'll have no snow.
Yeah, well, we'll be in the 60s too. So.
Yeah, right.
It's
anyway,
beautiful.
We do have some great photos that Cris has been pulling up, but let's pull some more up. We got you on the ice. It's so cool that you did that so early on. And then I think the next one was your first bike, wasn't it? Your first Sportster? Or
yeah, so that is the first bike I bought. So in the other pictures, you see that the tins were all yellow.
Yes, and the other shot.
I'm very much the type of person where I'll buy something if it's a nice, good, clean, solid buy. but I'll have like a different aesthetic in mind for it. So of course that yellow sporty, it was clean, gorgeous, perfect. And I was like, but of course it needs to be black. So it was right not too long after I got it and I was comfortable on it, ripping it down the road, just making sure I didn't spill it or anything. I was like, yep, okay, cool. I'm going to take these tins off and get them painted. So did that pretty much right away. And then, yeah, I rode that thing for a while. I kept that for several years. I did end up selling that bike, but I wish I wouldn't have because it was just so fun to ride, you know? Sporty.
Sportsters
got
are,
away.
aren't they?
Yeah, they are fun.
Do you have another Sportster?
I don't have one, no, but who knows, who's to say I wouldn't get another one?
You just missed a great deal. My son bought like 2 weeks ago. I think he got it the last day you can get it. And it was something they did with the 883 like 30 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, where if you buy it, you have 365 days to trade it in for full value towards another bike. So basically you could ride your Sportster for you, have a great time and say,
For free.
gee, that Pan Am is kind of cool. Or maybe they'll have a new model of the Pan Am in the next year that you may like better and go, whoa, ride the Sportster for a year and then, hey, try something different.
That's a cool idea.
Not a bad idea.
I do want to try those Pan Ams. There's so much hype on them right now, and they look so fun. I really want to try one out. Yeah.
God,
Right.
And you're really going to want one after you see the video at our halftime commercial break because we got a video coming up that's.
And I have a friend out on one right now who's doing 48 states. Whitney.
That's right.
No way.
Yeah, she's out there doing 48 states on her iron butt. She's got one more segment, I think, to do. But so cool that. So let's talk about your background. You went to college to study fine art and design.
I did. I went to college for mostly mastered in fine art and design. I'm a big painter, drawer, like this skull here behind me, and
is that a pencil? Is that a pencil?
That's a pencil. Yeah, that's
Beautiful.
a pencil there. And then, thank you so much. And like I love to oil paint. Michael, you saw that painting at the Maiden Moto art show.
Yes, of course. Oh, I wish I pulled a photo of it.
Oh, you did the Maiden Moto. I have my Maiden Moto shirt on. You can't see it here. She's got my Maiden Moto shirt on. That's awesome.
Michael, I need to see that photo you got too of the painting.
Yeah, of you with your painting. So it's actually online. So you could search your name on my site and it'll come up.
Okay, I'll do that. But
anyway.
Yeah, so a lot of fine art and stuff in college and design, and then that trickled into what I do now and designing clothing and moto apparel and things like that. So I do the fine art aspect as a hobby, kind of at home, and then it trickled into the fashion design for my career. So.
Wow.
Have you ever desired to now I know you're exhibiting in Maiden Moto, but that's one painting. Have you ever had desire to do more with your fine art background, like on the side, or are you just way too busy now?
You know what? Like I want to do more. I want to do way more with the fine art. It's just a matter of finding the time to do it. So I do have some pieces that are commissioned through, some friends and people in the industry and whatnot that have caught wind of the paintings and saw what was at TMMR, and they're like, oh my gosh, will you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? So thankfully, luckily I have those coming in, getting commissioned, and it helps feed that in the hobby sense. It is just a matter of finding that time to do
So
it.
what kind of things do you really like to design? What's your favorite things that you like to do?
Oh, look, you found a photo of you with your painting. My
There
God,
it is!
Chris Callan is on
Wow, it's on fire tonight.
On fire. The firecracker.
That is so cool, Michael. What a great photo.
There you go.
Oh, look at that.
Awesome.
How cool.
Nice picture. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's everywhere.
He is. He really is.
Well, now he is. Yeah. So what kind of things do you like to, what are the things, as I'm just imagining what kind of things you like to design?
As far as like apparel and clothing?
Yeah, like what kind of, like jackets,
So I love, of course, I'm particular to women's apparel and whatnot because it's what I'm personally passionate about. I really like to do jackets. Different types of jackets are super fun because you have so many different options. You can do leather, you can do denim, you can do canvas, you can do a heavy classic motorcycle jacket. You could do a cool canvas work jacket. You could do something fashiony with zippers on the arms that aren't in a typical spot, you know? So sky's the limit. I'd say jackets are probably one of my ultimate favorite things.
It's funny you said that because those are the favorite things I like to buy.
Really?
The jackets. I have my husband's like, how many jackets do you need? I mean, again,
as many as it takes.
There's different materials, not only about leather, right? So that's cool.
Back up one shot there, Cris Kleiner, 2 shots to that helmet with there. That is a not custom, that is a production visor that you designed. Is that correct?
Yes. So those visor inserts are made for the Bell Moto 3 helmets. I also made them for the Simpson M50 helmets. They do fit in the Harley Davidson helmet. I can't remember the exact name of it now, but it looks similar to that style.
So you could do these for others? Like, could you do it for some of the real popular full faces that younger people are wearing these days?
It's possible,
like Bill,
yes.
for example?
Yeah, it is quite possible. So I basically... what drove this is I really love to wear that dirt bike style helmet, that Bell Moto 3. It looks so bitchin' and mean, you know, and I love that Bell put it out new, like totally DOT, but I love to ride like full face coverage because, you know, we'll put down quite a few miles. Like we went cross country and back, I think 3 times last summer. So I don't like just goggles. I really like full coverage from wind, bugs, sand, rain, and all that. And so anyways, that sort of insert I made kind of a prototype and just really hodgepodgey in my backyard, the very first one ever. And put it in one of my other Moto 3 helmets and wore it for about 3 years and kept getting people asking me on Instagram or like around out on the road, oh my gosh, where did you get that? Where can I find it? I'm like, well, I made it in my backyard, you know? And then the requests just came piling in. And I thought, oh my gosh, I think I need to actually get this produced. So I have production and sourcing background from what I do. And I just ended up getting together with a manufacturer that was able to make it for me. And it's got like the UV protection, the anti-fog and all of that on it. And I sent them my specs and we had it, you know, sampled, produced, tested it, made sure it was good. And then before you know it, oh my gosh, here it is. I'm producing these things. So pretty cool. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Is that available on your website or how could people buy them?
It is available on my website. Yes, they are for sale on my website. It comes in 4 different colorways.
Do you sell them through Drag Specialties, Custom Chrome, or anybody else?
I do not. Right now, they're just available on my website.
Maybe you should sell them somewhere else.
Yeah, I you know, very well could look into it. It's all just been so new that, you know, I'm just kind of even getting my bearings on how to go about you know, getting them out there and whatnot. I've already sold out of a bunch of sizes, so it's just down to extra small, medium left. So I need to get some reorders going and whatnot. But yeah,
you know
they're doing well.
We have a lot of pictures to show and stuff. Let's take a quick commercial break, and then we come back. We'll talk about things that you're doing now, and then the future things you want to do. But let's take a commercial break and check out this Pan American in here, right, Mike?
Oh my goodness! Keep your eyes peeled.
Okay, here we go. Commercials.
Everything we do at the track shapes what we build for the street and the dirt.
You can see how bad these guys want it. A race to the line.
For us, racing is not for the trophies or the glory. We compete because it makes everything we do faster, more durable, and tested to a higher standard. For S&S, racing is the ultimate in proven performance, and we've been proving it since 1958.
Wow. There's some interesting pipes.
That bike is, I rode it on the street and it rides like a race bike and it's fast and it handles so well. And now they're coming out with things like aftermarket pipes. I mean, this is going to be wicked. I know Steve Broyles is going on. He's thinking I'm never going to talk to him again because he already posted. He's waiting. He posted something here that he's waiting. Unfortunately, Chrome and Powder Coat screwed me. Still waiting for his bike. But we love you, Steve Broyles. So otherwise, you wouldn't be showing your stuff.
Yeah. Hey, Mike Draco wants to know there's an update on the HP torque after the tune. What does that mean? On the HP torque after the tune. High performance.
The horsepower and torque.
Okay, so on the inside, I can give you a little sneak peek of the information.
For professional help here from Chris Collins.
I'm like, I don't know what that means.
So this is the deal unofficially. They talked about this last night on Shop Talk. Unofficially, 131 rear wheel, like real world horsepower that they got after that. But this is the important thing to remember. That was a catback performance pipe. Like, they got rid of the resonator, absolutely zero tuning on that bike yet. They literally did a prototype, threw it on the bike, and got impressive gains in both horsepower and torque. So I can't wait to see what they do after they get a little tune time in it, once they figure out how to jailbreak that ECU.
And they got a good team there between Dan and Steve. I didn't know they worked together even.
How heavy is that bike? Do you know?
It's like 500.
Oh, that's light.
Right, Chris? Kellen?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, like I said, with me on it, and I'm a sizable human being. It was not having a problem. It was trying to get out from underneath me in the first 3 gears very well. Like, it was,
pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I'm not as sizable as him, so it really took off.
Michael, you could totally rip on that thing.
It was great. And my son Sean was riding one in the dirt and through the mud and whatnot. And I went with Danger Dan. I went down to New Mexico to photograph him. And Dan. I'm telling you, it looked like we crossed. This is coming out in Dice magazine. It looked like we crossed the Amazon. I'm telling you. He was over the axle deep.
Jeez.
I mean, he went through this thing. It was, his knee is underwater.
Gosh.
And unbelievable. And he just kept
I
riding.
love it.
Well,
Didn't-
Natalie, you got that FXR, so you drink the FXR Kool-Aid you told us. So
Yeah, well, let's hear more about your story.
yeah,
then.
let's
go
definitely.
back to-
I wanna check
Let's
out
go
your
back to
other
some
pictures.
photos. Let's go back to some
Okay.
photos. I think, did we show the one of her like going crazy on a side by side?
Oh no! We didn't.
Oh
What is
my
that?
gosh. It's so high. I got cut off. Yeah.
Oh, Chris Callan. Can we? There we go.
Look at her face.
Yeah, that's with the good old lead sled crew over at the Tennessee Music Motorcycle Revival. And,
Yeah.
you know, we're just driving around as we do over there, typically from one bar tent to the other, or someone's booth to the other booth. And
Oh, jeez.
they decided that wheelies would be a good idea on the way there. And then we're just popping wheelies all over the place. And thankfully, good old Michael just so happened to be there to catch that for
Oh my
us.
God, you got the money shot. Look at your face. That's
know.
awesome.
I'll tell you that
Awesome.
Pat Patterson is unstoppable. So, I mean, he
I
gets
love Pat.
when he's
I
in
love
form,
Pat.
he's really in form.
He
So-
makes sure that everyone has a great time anywhere we go.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I want to do that. That Tennessee thing sounded like so much fun. I was invited, I think, the
Oh,
first year, and I for some reason I didn't go. I don't know. And I'm like, why didn't I go to that?
It was a lot of fun. This next photo is Natalie.
Yeah.
Actually, the next two photos right in front of the BC Moto shed there, the barn. And
Oh,
here she is.
yeah.
That's one of my shots. But the next shot, she donned some amazing high fashion pants.
Yeah.
You like those pants for some
Oh,
reason.
heck yeah. Those are the hot
I think they're
pants.
awesome, but Michael really likes those pants.
I don't know.
Thank
I think
you.
I think they're a throwback to the 60s. Like these boots are
Yeah.
made for walking, Nancy Sinatra or something. I'm not sure.
They're
I think I have a
great.
picture of my husband wearing spandex in the 70s. Oh
They're
my God.
definitely
Yeah.
very form-fitting, very tight spandexy pants, but they're, you know, I just can't help it. It comes with the whole fashion-y thing, you know, and believe it or not, they're comfortable, but they were hot on that particular day, though. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I was feeling the heat in them, but it was funny just ripping around on that little bike. I had just got that bike that day, and I wanted a fun little bike to ride around in the rallies and whatnot, because, you know, they're fun to have and get around to different campsites and different booths and stuff. And I happened to have those great pants on that day, and I saw my buddy Eric Steinway. He had brought that bike over for me from South Carolina, and he's like, "Hey, I got your bike for you." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, yes!" You know.
I didn't know you know Eric. Cool.
Yeah, I love Eric, dude. I told him that I was looking for a little kind of pit bike like that, but not too little, something with a bigger wheel on it, and that could still kind of rip around in the dirt a little bit and have fun on. And, you know, like at Sturgis, when you need to ride around from like the Chip to Camp Zero or wherever, you know. And
Sure.
I told him what I was kind of looking for, and I said, you know, I'd kind of like something like a little Honda, you know, like something like that. And he was like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I'll put my eyes out there and I'll let you know what I find. And dude, it wasn't even like 12 hours later. He's like, I found one. I'm going to go take a look at it. I'll let you know how it is. And then he picked it up and he's like, it needs a different seat cover, fender, some, you know, fork tubes, this and that, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I'll just take care of it. And I was like, thank you so much.
That's what he does. He's very good. I love his little group of friends back there too. They're an awesome group. Now this next photo here goes to 2017. So it's back only 4 years, but it's you and Troy Lee. So it's a little bit about the Troy Lee story, as are the next few photos. So why don't you tell us how did you make that connection to even enter the industry? Like, you know, here you'd only been riding 2 years, and tell us where you came from and how you ended up here.
Yeah. So I had been living in Minnesota prior, and, you know, I wanted to leave the cold Minnesota winters and be able to ride longer. And I moved out to California. I had some friends out there and started looking for a job, and a job opening popped up to be a product developer and design with Troy Lee. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is perfect, you know? So I simply I applied. I gave them my resume and I said, hey, this is me. This is who I am. I'm a Northern Minnesota girl. I love to ride motorcycles, four-wheelers, snowmobiles, whatever. This is totally my jam. I'm into design, fashion, anything that looks cool. Like, I feel like this would be such a great opportunity for me to work with you and design rad motocross gear. And holy crap, by golly, I got the job. I got in there and I started working with them and started designing the motocross gear. And it was like the coolest frickin' job, you guys. Troy is amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but
Every
it's also
day.
amazing. You were racing there. What was that all about?
So that was that was a day at work, to be honest with you, which was pretty freaking cool. We had to go out and actually test some of the stuff that we would design and develop. So Troy is like, hey, he'd come in and we'd call him the Troy NATO. He'd come in and be like, hey, you guys, what's going on? Like, hey, I got this really great idea. Like, let's do this and that and this and that. And I'm like, whoa, Troy, slow down, like reel it in, But then, so he'd come in and he'd be like, hey, you guys, like, I was thinking, let's go out next Thursday to Glen Helen and let's ride the track and test out that gear. We'll pack a cooler and make sandwiches, bring some beers. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is my job, So I'm like, yeah, cool. So, the first
That's great.
First track
He puts you on a bike and
rode,
says, go for it.
I know this next picture
bikes.
is probably not you, but it's an awesome picture. This number 12 picture. Oh my gosh.
That's not me.
I was like, I'd be saying it to me.
But for somebody else, it's a day at the office, right?
That's a day at the office, and that is
Somebody else, right?
That is a
How cool
kit.
is that?
Some of our
And this
some of
next
our
picture
gear
too,
that we
similar.
did.
Pretty cool gear. I love it. I love the
Yeah.
colors. I was checking out those stripes and the one with the white one, with the orange stripes on it. Really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
Definitely.
super fun. So I got to, have some of it be really loud and super motocrossy and super Troy Lee style. And then some of the stuff was able to be a little more like toned down and refined. Like, we had a really nice black kit with some bronze gold striping on it, which is totally my jam, like a black and bronzy gold. So of course I was, loving that one. But it was such a good job, and that's what kind of got me into like the industry and meeting a lot of folks in the industry and whatnot. And then just being in California and Long Beach too, it was just you're surrounded by a lot of folks in that. And actually, one of the other first people that I met industry wise was Jeff Holt with V-Twin Visionary had hit me up and asked me, he's like, hey, I see that you're, like you ride an FXR and you're new in the area. We want to do a write-up on you and whatnot. And I was like, who, me? Like, okay.
Let's jump ahead to picture 20 then while you're talking about this.
Your FXR.
I'm sorry to interrupt there.
That's all right.
She always says she drank the FXR Kool-Aid because those things are pretty amazing bikes. Like, this is like when you first got it, maybe, right?
That's after I had that for a little bit. It didn't look anything like that when I bought it. When I bought it, it was totally the original LR style. So it had the big spoke front wheel. It had a wolf on the tank. It was blue and looked nothing like this. And of course, once again, perfect case in point, I bought a bike, but I was like, yeah, this is cool, it's clean, it's nice, I'm going to tear it apart and make it totally different. So but this is a photo of that Jeff took for the V-Twin Visionary article right up at the Long Beach Pier there. So that was pretty cool.
And isn't that great that, Jeff never really touts himself as a photographer, but there he does. There he did a great shot.
It was
So there it is with the different motor now. This is with the black motor.
That's
so something happened and you had to replace the motor, correct?
Yeah. So the crank pin broke in my original Evo motor in that bike. We were actually coming home from Born Free, Michael, the first time I met you. We were riding home from Born Free and I was riding with a couple of buddies of mine, big South Dakota Joe and my friend Matt Virgil. And we were ripping back pretty good. And I thought I was cool. And I was like racing my buddy Maddie. We were at stoplights, like getting on the gas, just kind of racing each other from stoplight to stoplight. Right. And,
now the truth comes out.
I know. And one of the stoplights, like I totally like ripped it. And I mean, I smoked him, poor Maddie, I'm sorry. But, and I'm just like totally killing it. And then all of a sudden I hear like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened? And
yeah, they always run. Rob's like, I bet it was running great before it blew up. Rob, they always run really good before they blow up. Okay.
It was going good. And I quick pulled over and we realized it was the crank pin. And so it was just like, once we tore the motor down and whatnot, we realized, okay, that's it. And it was like, okay, do you rebuild it? Do you replace it? All this and that. And it's like, okay, just get a new motor. So I spoke with David Zemla there at S&S, amazing company to work with. Holy cow, seriously. And got that S&S V111 dropped in there, and holy shit, you guys, does that thing rip?
Yeesh. Well, the good thing too, you learned a lot because you helped him do the work on it. So you learned about stuff too. And to me, that's the thing. If you're going to go into it, I mean, that's how I learned stuff, by watching and helping and getting involved. So that's cool. You get to do that.
Yeah.
So
and
you learned where the crank pin is. It's way down in the bottom.
And when you see what a crank pin is, you're like, how in the heck does that break? Like, that thing is massively huge, it's insane. But I'm very lucky and fortunate to have such great friends that have the patience to show me how to do some of this work and walk me through some of that stuff. So,
well, I like this shot. That's in Long Beach, right?
Yeah, that is in Huntington Beach. And it was just one of those perfect sunsets. I mean, one of the super great things about California is the weather is just pretty much always great riding weather, and loved riding out there for sure. So, good times out there.
Wow.
Yep, pretty cool. So what would you be doing if you weren't? I was just thinking about this, about people. What would you be doing if you weren't doing what you're doing now? Like the girl who was on last week, we had a burlesque dancer. We had Kissa on. She said, I know, she blew my mind because she said, I'd be a homicide investigator. I was like, no shit. That's so cool. So do you ever think of what would you do? Sometimes I do that. But, what would you do if you weren't doing this?
If I wasn't doing this, I would probably be doing some like major house renovations. I really love that stuff. Cool. I've done 3 so far, and I just, I love totally taking a dilapidated house, tearing it down to nothing, and it's like a blank canvas and you get to start all over again. So I'd probably be doing something like that.
That's the painter in you with the blank canvas. But here you are, the designer in that photo there, showing off. That's one of your shirts. How many shirts do you have that you've done?
That's cool.
I've done a handful. This is one that I did a spin-off of, like Metallica. I love the old school Metallica growing up. I was a hardcore, just, old school metal fan. And so did a play off of that with the Justice for All. And so that one's available on the site too now.
That's really cool. I like that one.
So, you haven't, I don't know if it's okay to talk about it or not, but I'm going to ask you, what about Dehavn? Because I know I have photos from the TMMR. Some of the racers were wearing Dehavn shirts, and I know it was a brand that I was hearing about, but you sound like you're kind of slowing it down a little bit.
Dehavn production's been really slow with just the whole pandemic. And so, we get a lot of canvas and leather manufacturing done overseas. And that's just taken a huge, huge hit in time and actually, getting resources to make these products. So we definitely still have product for sale, stuff still for sale up on the website. We have women's leather jackets. We have some women's canvas riding shirts and denim riding shirts, different gloves. There's also some men's styles available on the website too. So really great product that myself and Aaron Hartless have been working on for riders. And this is gear that we try to keep timeless and classy, but yet very functional to ride in. So we've been working on building that assortment. The pandemic has been hard on production. So
and not just for lots of things, not just for clothing stuff.
And different sides of the production too, like even just fulfillment, delivery, shipping, and the ships.
I like
bringing
that factory chain
supplies,
jersey.
like
See, I'm already seeing something I want. Uh-oh.
Yeah, those jerseys were all over out on the track, on the flat track out at TMMR, and that was really cool to see.
That's awesome.
Isn't that cool? That's the shirt that I saw on the track there.
Yeah,
really
those.
Cool.
And they show up so well out there. They stick out.
Yeah, it looked really good. You have to look at some of my pictures on the TMMR page.
I saw a couple of them, Michael. They turned out great. And I love it. It was like a proud parent moment to see those out there. So
it must be, especially, I mean, it's one thing there. I imagine as you grow, and I wish you the best to do that as you see your products walking down the street or at other events, that will feel really amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a unbelievable thing to see come to life. You work so hard to make these things happen, and you put so much time and effort into even designing a style and then getting it sourced and manufactured and made and making sure it fits right. There's so much behind it before it even hits the website. And then to see it out in the wild and people wearing it and stuff, it's like, oh my gosh, this is actually happening. So it's
how do you distinguish between your day job work and your after hours, more personal
your day job, which is
branding?
Milwaukee Leathers, right?
Yep.
So you design for them, and so do they have very specific design tasks they give to you, and do you just go all out on your own stuff?
Luckily, I have free reign, so that's pretty neat. It's with Milwaukee Leathers, Hot Leathers, and Leather Up, and basically it's just helping bring some newness in, or maybe some fit tweaks to styles to dial in jackets that maybe need adjustments for ladies' actual functional riding needs. And they're really open and just kind of let me. It's amazing. They let me just take product to test. I ride in it, and then I think, okay, this sleeve cuff needs to be narrower. There has to be a better gusset because I'm getting too much airflow coming in and it's parachuting out, or you need a vent under the arms, or maybe this needs to be done in a different leather. So it's really neat what they allow me to do with that, and then.
There it is being tested on the track, right?
Yeah, so
that's
cool.
the Dehavn jersey. Yeah, that's a great one. Gosh, that's so cool. I love it.
I think it's just great that we, being a longtime woman rider who used to wear men's boots, men's jackets, men's gloves. I mean, you want to look like a guy, okay? You kind of want, I mean, it's functional, of course, but because I have long arms too, it's hard to fit me, but. Just to have something that, you want to look like crap when you get off your bike. Okay.
Well, that's exactly right. And you're getting right to the point, which I am so adamantly on, saying that, I want to make clothing that women can ride in, that's functional, and you can cross the country in it. You can cross state lines, but at the same time, you can get off of your bike and go in and eat a steak dinner or a burger or whatever it is that you want, and still look like you're somewhat put together, like you're not a total biker that just rode across 4 state lines. You can still like go in and be like well, but it's true. And at least, you may feel all haggard as hell because you're like, oh, dang, the wind gets to you and all you want to do is sit down and eat a decent meal before you go to bed for the night. But at least you don't have to worry like, golly, I look like a scrub right now, So there's one of the canvas shirts.
You don't look like you just crossed 4 states.
Oh man, what is that? That shirt is cool. I like that.
That's the 22 ounce canvas. So that thing could probably stand up on its own. It's
Cool.
really
And the price, and I'll tell you what, that's not a bad price for a shirt.
it's
a nice
not,
shirt.
and
Really
it's
isn't.
heavy duty, and that's one of the
Yeah.
shirts that you do not wash, but as
Right.
you wear it, it molds and forms to your body, and it gets those like whiskers and the elbow creases, and it gets all patinaed, and but yet it's still cut so that when you have it on, it's
Right.
it's cut for a woman.
Okay, you just
Okay, wait a
dropped
minute.
something, and people are going to say, "What do you mean you
Okay,
don't wash
I
it?"
was like, you don't wash it? That sounds like
Because
my kind of
I'm
clothes.
thinking back, I was in Japan
that.
with Jeff Decker, and he's wearing a pair of pants of original Levi's from the 60s.
Yeah,
And
don't wash
he's
them.
telling me that they've never been washed. And
Yeah.
because of
That's
that,
awesome.
they're worth like $1,800 in Japan. Like
Yeah.
somebody will strip him naked and buy those pants off him for $1,800 because they've never been washed. So you got to
Yeah.
tell us about this.
So you don't want to wash canvas, especially, for example, because if you do, you're just gonna ruin it. It's gonna either
Yeah.
shrink up, or you're gonna lose all the form that you gave it. And of course, if you want to clean it, what we recommend is that you just roll it up and stick it in your freezer for a day or two.
That's what I've heard. You just
Yeah.
freeze the
Wow.
sucker.
Okay, I'm learning new stuff here. I love
Yep.
this.
So if you freeze
so-
it, it'll kill anything
Yeah.
that's bad growing in it that, normally when we wash clothes, we want to get rid of bacteria or,
Right.
gross stuff in it. So you put it in the freezer and it's going to kill absolutely everything, and it's going to get rid of any smell, any odor. It's a
Wow.
miracle worker. Yeah. So
There you go, Chris, right?
Okay, I'm trying that.
Yeah.
I'm bringing one pair of pants down to the chase. I'm never
And you
washing it.
just
Now,
don't
now
put
you're going to be
it.
asking everywhere you go, you're going to say, is there a freezer in the room?
Is there a freezer in the
The
hotel?
hell with a washing machine. I need a
Right, your
freezer in the
freezer.
room.
Just don't put it next to like the frozen garlic bread or something, because then it's
right.
probably not going to smell great, or it's going to smell really good.
I will
I'm
say,
gonna do that.
people on the third floor may get upset when they go to the ice machine and they go, what the hell
are
are
these?"
a pair of old smelly jeans doing in here?
At that point, you'll have to biker it and maybe smell till you get home.
Oh,
But
Jason sent this.
can't
I wrote
help.
that in the chase book. Really? You did? I can't wait.
Oh, cool.
Put your clothes in
Yeah.
the freezer. I
Yeah.
love it. Wow. So fun. Well, I can't thank you enough for being on our show. I know we have a couple more pictures we can show really quick.
Yeah, let's get
Because
through the
they're
last
such cool
of them for
pictures.
sure. Where do we leave
Definitely.
off here?
Thank you
I
so
think
much.
it's number
in the
21.
oh, yeah.
We talked
Oh,
about the helmet. Yeah.
Yeah, we
the
missed
helmet.
this one, though.
The
This is that
visor.
same helmet that was on one of the websites. So that's
Yep.
you modeling your visor there, which
Yeah.
I think you're leaving money on the table by not producing more and getting them out to Tom Motzko Drag Specialties and
No.
Custom Chrome and J&P.
If you will.
I
If you're
think
listening,
you're
people.
I think you're right.
No,
I think
and,
you're
and we could help you do that when you're ready. So
Oh, I'm ready. Let's do that then.
Yeah.
I want to go to this motel.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay. So this was on our way to, I believe we were heading out to Durango, Colorado, to the Four Corners motorcycle rally. This was one of those trips, just like many trips end up happening. I was not planning on riding out there, and my friends convinced me literally the night before, pack up your bags, we're going to go ride. And, so it's like, oh, I can't go. I got too much stuff going on. I can't make it happen. And they're like, just pack your bags. Kickstand's up at 8, So it's like, okay. And you run home and you're like frantically packing, like, okay, to pack for like 2.5 weeks. What am I going to bring? So you form your staple items that you throw in your bag, get it ready and go. And this was one of those trips. This was, I can't remember which town this is. It's a super, super cute town though, with the cutest motel. They have old cars, beautiful paintings all over it. My gosh, I wish I could remember what
So
it
what I
was.
don't understand is you said you didn't stay there. You ate breakfast across the street at a diner. So
Yes.
are you telling me that you just happened to be wearing that clothing when you went across the street and took that picture, or did you put it on?
I'm totally serious. I was wearing that. But
Seriously,
I-
I mean, come on.
minus
she
the
drives and she looks awesome and cool. when she
Oh my
rides.
God, truly a passion for fashion, as you're saying about
Oh,
yourself.
thank
There you
you.
go.
and
That's
this
what it
was
is.
this was when we made it to Durango to Four Corners, and I was so tired because we put down miles and went fast. And Danny Wilson was messing with someone's bike in the parking lot. Of course, they came up and asked him, "Hey, can you look at my bike? It's making this sound," which happens everywhere. And so they're over there looking at the bike, and we were all going to go and eat somewhere because, you know, we just arrived. We were tired, hungry, and they're all messing with the bike. And I'm like, well, I'm going to sit down and like just close my eyes for a minute. And my friend Lisa Prentice snagged that picture of me there, just kind of catching a nap on the wheel of the bike. In the
Hey, Mike Draco wants to know, does Dehavn have athletic fit items for men too?
Those jerseys would be probably the closest athletic fit.
Those jerseys are very cool.
Yeah, they're rad. They're super
awesome.
Very cool. I love it. Now, you should have had them for sale down there. You would have sold a ton of them.
I know it.
You can get them.
I know it.
Yeah.
They're starting to run out. That's the only kicker. But
people love those kind of shirts. I love those kind of shirts. So, before I forget, I wanted to ask you, because you've mentioned Durango a few times. I don't know that people are familiar, and that is an event that is coming up in September. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about the Four Corners event. Do you know the promoter on that?
John Oakes puts on that Four Corners motorcycle rally bike show at the Durango Harley Davidson. And
my understanding is he bought a bunch of land and is doing a big concert this year, I guess. And
is he doing the concert now? I wasn't sure if that was going to happen this year.
Oh, maybe it won't happen this year. I do know that he bought this land and is planning to develop it for the event. He seems like a really nice guy and very knowledgeable about motorcycle events, certainly.
Yes.
And I have not been down to the Durango event in more than 20 years. Back when,
oh, really?
No, back when, and here I am in Colorado, back when Senator Ben Nighthorse Campbell would have a little party at his ranch, and there was Ignacio at the, over at the, they had a casino down there, and they would host a lot of things over at the casino as well. So it's time for me to go back, I think. So did you love the event? Would you go back?
Yeah, it's a gorgeous location. The event is fun because, of course, it's always all of us friends getting together. Every time there's a rally, it's like a mini summer camp all on its own, you know? But Durango's beautiful. Everyone there at the dealership is super nice. And the riding out there is just spectacular. I mean, there's the $1 Million Highway out there you can go ride to.
Oh God, that's gorgeous.
Holy smokes, you guys, that was impressive. I mean, I was like, holy crap.
I love it. Not for the faint of heart if you're scared of heights, but boy, I love that road.
Nope, not for the faint of heart at all. I'm not going to lie. I was riding that, and when I was in the lane that was closest to the end of the road that had no shoulder and it's straight down for as far as your eye can see, my palms were sweaty. I was like, do not go over this line, because there's the white line there, and there's no shoulder. There is literally no shoulder. Like, you're dead if you go off.
Oh yeah.
Would you put that up there with the TMMR? Would you?
Oh gosh, I think those are just two totally separate types of events. So I mean, they're both great events to go to. I mean,
both keepers.
Both keepers. Yep.
Where's this other picture? Where's that last two pictures from? Or three? Where's these? Is this Colorado? One of them looks like Colorado. Hey, who's that?
That's Rob Nussbaum.
What the hell, Rob?
I have a picture of Chris snoozing on the lawn after a long day on the Cannonball.
I was not snoozing. I was
Chris Callan to find it. Awesome. Chris Callan's on fire. There you go.
Thanks, Rob.
Oh, that's awesome.
I have never seen that before. What else? Jeez.
Okay.
That's so great.
Put up compromising pictures? Do I go into my archive?
Yeah, right. I think you have a lot of those over the years. I know you do.
Oh boy, I could get a lot of people in trouble, but I'm not going to go
throw
there.
that away.
That would be a fun show. That would be.
I can't do it. Not till 50 years. Not till 50 years after the last one dies.
Oh man.
Gosh. That's
anyway,
cool.
This is that's $1 Million Highway. That's the $1 Million Highway right there.
For any of you listeners that don't know it, it goes through Silverton, which is one of the most picturesque, gorgeous little gold mining towns in Colorado. There's actually 4-wheel driving trails. So a lot of 4-wheelers go up there and do jeeping and whatnot. My son and I did the $1 Million Highway. We spent a night in Silverton. It's a great place to spend the night, but it goes through Durango, Silverton, Telluride. It's a big triangular loop. And it is spectacular. So if anyone ever wants to go to the Four Corners Run, go there and plan like 2 extra days separate.
Pretty neat.
So you can take your time on this gorgeous road. Would you agree on that, Natalie?
Oh, I agree with you 100%. I think that we were there for a total of about 3.5 days. So, it was just a matter of getting there initially, setting up for the event, then the day of the event. And then the next day we went riding, and we spent the whole day riding. We went all the way up to, what is it? Ouray.
You're right.
And absolutely beautiful. And I would say allow yourself a full, complete day of riding so you can just enjoy it. There's cool places to eat. The towns are so neat that you stop in. I mean,
I'm going to say 2 days. I think plan a night on that trip, because then you could really enjoy the little towns and stop.
And Colorado I must say, they have the most nice roads too. I mean, for a place where it snows, you don't have the big potholes. Like, I know Minnesota probably has them too, but Chicago, oh my God, you're talking potholes. Like, you're going in, you're not getting out alive.
Okay, but I will say right now, I have to be honest here. I-70 is closed because of an 80-foot long, 5-foot deep mudslide over the road.
Oh my gosh.
I did see that.
Because of the fires from last summer, so, they'll fix it. It'll
Colorado
be great. Don't worry,
roads suck.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Actually, don't come to Colorado. We have too many people.
Don't come to Hawaii, because we really have a lot of people.
Anyway. Oh, it's such fun stuff, and we can go on and on, right? A lot of.
I know this last picture, because we love the last picture.
Let's do it.
Picture.
But I know you enjoy your motorcycling life. We could tell that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, this is a post you did on your social media.
Yeah, this was a post that a friend of mine had put up that I had to repost. I loved it. It's, on the FXR, splitting lanes in California, but I'm wearing my vintage fur coat. So once again, it's
like your vintage fur coat. Did you get some bugs in that coat?
Yeah, probably. I've got some bugs in there. And I think that shot too, with that helmet, had one of my first visor prototypes in there too. That was one of my handmade ones. That's even. Awesome. So that was great. But it's, just love the fashion and the fur and the Pendleton bandanas. Like Michael, you said, are you sure you were dressed like that, or did you dress like that for the picture?
I want you to dress me when I go out. I need a fashion person to dress me up a little bit. And I'm like, what should I wear? My husband's like, I don't care. Everything. No, I don't. You liar. No.
I always
on me, so
I try to.
Great meeting you, and I can't wait to see you at Biker Bells, right?
Yes, we'll see you in Sturgis.
I look forward to seeing you guys in Sturgis, and Chris. I can see you at Biker Bells and ride together.
Yep, and check out Natalie's websites.
Yeah, Natalie, tell us where everybody could find you and order your shirts or your different products and see your work.
Thanks. So I'm on Instagram as Natalie K. Kleiner, and the website is listed in the bio, and the website is nataliekleiner.com. And there you can, there are gloves that I have for sale. There's shirts, hoodies, the visors, more product to come on that. Also, the Dehavn you can find on the web at thedehavn.com. And so we've got, the leather jackets, the canvas shirts, denim shirts, gloves, things like that. And we are also on Instagram for the Dehavn as well. On Instagram, we are the Dehavn. So you can find us there and all of our products.
Cool. Do you have, Nancy Weems wants to know, do you have the tearaway for your shields?
Do I have the tearaway for the shields? No tearaway.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. Well,
They
thanks
pop
anyway.
right in. Yeah.
They pop in. Oh, awesome.
They pop
Great.
right in. Yep. So they pop in and pop out. But
Okay. Well,
yeah.
awesome. I just love seeing all these comments. We have so many. You have to go back through and read the comments because people have some interesting things. But thank you, everybody, for coming. And thank you, Natalie. I just, I can't wait to see what you come up with next. I'm going to be checking out your websites and stuff.
Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing you in Sturgis.
Thank you so much, you guys. I look forward to seeing you in Sturgis too. And thank you so much for having me on and chatting with you. It was really fun. Thank you so much.
Definitely.
All right. We'll see you soon. Just a few weeks away.
Yeah, it's going to be here.
Yeah, just a few weeks. Oh my gosh, you guys, time's going so fast.
I know. Slow down. All right. Take care.
All right. Thanks.
Wow.
All right. See you later. Bye.
Wow. Lots of messages too, huh?
I have to dress nicer when I ride. I mean, she looks so damn cute.
It's funny. I mean,
adorable.
I am the non-passion for fashion only because I wreck everything. I mean, I destroy my stuff. That's why I wear knee pads. Knee pads just don't tie in with the fashion for passion.
Yeah, you wear the knee pads, but just don't wash the pants. Then you.
Well, I'll try that too. You realize that men don't have to wear pants because we have a force field from the waist down. That's why men wear their jeans for weeks on end.
Huh?
Yeah, it's this magic force field that men don't need to wash their pants. Don't you ever wonder why, you don't see guys' jeans in the wash?
Well,
and now that we know
that
we know we could freeze them as well, then we never have to wash them. That's right.
Oh my God! But don't put them on when they're cold.
Unless it's the summer. Hey, in the summer.
Oh my God, that could feel really good on a hot day.
When people say it'll put a new meaning on chill out, right? Chill out. Go to the freezer, take your jeans out. Chill out.
Especially on a hot day.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's great.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh.
Oh God, we have a lot coming up, don't we? So we have some good guests. Next week we got Gypsy, which I think will be really fun.
From the Chase.
I mean, for people that don't know her, she was building custom bikes, over 20 years ago. And she was the only female builder to do a biker build off, and she won.
Yeah, only one to compete, and then she actually won the whole damn thing.
And she won it, yeah. And then she connected with Barry Wardlaw, and has been with him ever since. Of course, now it's two amazing talents because him with his engine work and she building. So that's really cool. So she's
they're both riding the Chase.
That's
which is really fun. So we're going to do our first live. I'm so excited to do a live show I'm going down there too. So it'll be really fun to do some stuff from down there.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then, we have a few comments I should mention here because for one thing, Chrissy Watchin congratulates you on your 35-year patch there. The Dusty Dollar says it's hot in Arkansas, and that makes me think that I spoke to Dave Nichols today out in Oregon, 114 degrees, and your daughter in Portland. So
our daughter yesterday,
oh my goodness, our heart goes out to all those people. And then we had Trayvon something asked, what women's conference festival is she speaking of? I think that's at the end. Can you fill them in on your conference?
Yeah, that's the Women's Motorcycle Conference that's in Washington, D.C., or outside of Washington, Arlington, Virginia, August 19th, 20th, 22nd. I am presenting. There's going to be a finale. That's where the ride ends up, the suffragist ride. It's a 100-year anniversary of when the women got the vote. So we're going to have a big thing there and a celebration. And the conference is separate from the ride, but you can look it up on womensmotorcycletours.com. There's all the information. I'm going to be presenting. There's all kinds of other women presenting. I think Karen Davidson is going to do one also. So come out and check that out.
That's awesome. Yeah. And then Steve Broyles chimed in, and he chimed into me, but then he also said, you too, he said, Michael, you have to come and see and ride this in Sturgis, referring to the Pan Am. So Steve Broyles, if you're listening, I'm going to take you up on that. And I think Chris will too. And then congratulations, Cycle Source and their latest issue. Dennis Stauber said he just brought the mail in. His latest issue of Cycle Source magazine was in there. From overseas, or at least over the border, Elizabeth Scheller from Red Deer in Canada.
Alberta.
Is that in Alberta? Okay.
That's beautiful.
And then Mike Podger, our regular listener from Prince Edward Island. He's always, I can't wait to go visit him up there because I love it. And then Oscar Grasso from Argentina. chimed in.
Oh,
So
man, that's
welcome to our
awesome.
guests. I would a little shameless self-promotion here because I did
Right.
have my Dennis Kirk. It's called Lichter Notes, and today I did something on Roland Sands Glory Stomper, and it's an article about that almost 20-year-old bike, but how that bike changed a lot of where we're at with custom building right now. This bike was
awesome.
if you click on that, you could see it's like a bike feature, but it really is about him and the influence of this bike on younger builders, because I think it changed custom
I remember
biking.
that bike. Yeah, Roland's a cool.
And he went against Arlen Ness on that. And you can read the whole story about all this, but he went against Arlen Ness in Puerto Rico. We all went there and for the biker build off, and he very graciously lost. I mean, it was really amazing the way that all came down, and his bike could have won. It was a spectacular bike, but
Chris says that's part of the feature in Cycle Source magazine this month.
Oh,
so
really?
Cool to check that
that
out.
was part of the feature. Oh, cool.
Apparently, yeah. And Nancy Keener, I do not know which day I'm speaking at the conference, so they didn't tell me yet. So when I know that, we will announce it on here when I know. So thank you for asking. And thank you to our sponsors. Again, SNS, Metzler, Torque, and the show Cannonball Chronicles tomorrow night with Rob and Jason. I think their guest is Chris Sawyer. That's for that. And then I'm not sure who's on Torque on Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time.
So that's always a great show. And Sunday night for, of course, Shop Talk. I mean, there's so much incredible content on Cycle Source Media, which is what they call it. So you can find that, of course, where you're listening tonight, watching tonight, or YouTube or Chopper Town or any one of other like almost 20 channels. But so much content and so much great stuff to learn and see. So definitely tune in and be sure to check out Chris's site and read more about all those amazing women that she wrote about, and pester her to do edition 2 with 1951 to 2000. I'm not going to let that go like a bulldog.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And
you gotta
check us out. And I guess we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys from Cape Girardeau, Missouri. We'll be checking in there with you.
All right. So, thanks so much, everybody.
Yep. Have a great week, and we'll see you soon. Thanks again, everybody. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.